Have you ever created something that you were once proud of, but then to look back on said thing years later and just wonder, what was I doing? I've been drawing Fake Pokémon for a while, and I've decided to go back and review all the ones that I drew many years ago, because they're interesting. Welcome to DeadBedSpread's Fakemon Reviews, starring me, DeadBedSpread. Hey, hi, hello, my dudes. Today is a monumental day. We are halfway through the fake decks. Can you believe it? The sexy bunnies seem like they were so long ago. I mean, they were, like, 2 years ago. Look at me trying to make an anecdote and just fecking it up. And continuing to talk well after the point has been made. Life is meaningless. Time is a human construct. Jet fuel can't melt steel. Rockablock amps it up in slot 74. With a name of Rock and Block, it's definitely a mystery as to what type it is. It only has one arm with a little plug hand at the end. Or is that its tail? Who knows? In terms of like actual design, what the hell is going on with its mouth? It's also got a sassy raised eyebrow for whatever reason. You may be wondering why a Pokemon based off an amplifier isn't sound type. Well, that's because it is something much better in store. At level 30, boy that's a bit late, isn't it? Rockablock evolves into Rockablax, the Rockablock Axe guitarist. He's done sprouted a whole body and limbs. Its prominent arm hints at a guitar, which is its primary weapon. It's basically a big angular rock. You wouldn't want to get smacked with that. Ouchie. I really like this guy's lower legs, weirdly enough. Keep that in mind for later. The amp design is maintained in its cheeks, so maybe this thing could sing? Then why no sound type? Well, when exposed to a Thunderstone, Rockablax evolves into Amperax, a combo of Amp, Axe, and Emperor. We got the amp, we got the backup guitar, now the lead electric guitarist. Literally, an electric guitarist that plays rock music. Oh! In terms of design, it's fine, even if its collar is horribly off-center. Oddly, the only member of the line with amp in its name has no element of the amp design on them at all. Ah well, it's probably a little too human-like and squishy looking as a rock type. Maybe that's just me. There's definitely a ton of potential here regardless. Following the best/worst pun of all time, we have Radiosaur, the radiator dinosaur. As for what kind of dinosaur, it seems like a weird combination of Dimetrodon and Stegosaurus. And of course, a radiator. It's fire type, so its spine will glow red hot when it attacks. It could probably use its spiked tail to give you a nasty whack too. Pretty neat. Despite some perspective issues, this guy is pretty G. He's not amazing, but he's really not bad at all. At level 40, this small Dimetrostegodontosaurus evolves into the fearsome Spinoseer, gaining the steel type. Its claws become steel, and when it heats up its spine, it would also heat up its claws. Neato. The searing Spinosaurus could maybe be a fossil Pokemon that isn't rock for whatever reason. This thing probably would have combated Tyrantrum back in the day, because if we need anything in Pokemon, it's a reference to Jurassic Park 3, the best movie ever made. Alan. This line was also pretty good. What a surprise. Moving on, we arrive at one of the lazier mons. Literally. Number 79 is Oblividon, the Oblivious Don. Oblivious, like, Slowpoke, which is also number 79. Alright, you know what? I got two pretty good lines in a row. I was probably running a bit low on steam. I mean, it's not terrible by any stretch. This thing was partially inspired by the roar lizards. You remember them. You know the ones. Also, what sort of leaves has this guy been eating? Has he been eating some grass? Has this lizard gotten so high that he's become oblivious to his surroundings and just had his mind join the astral plane? Or he just has pink eyes. How about that? I don't know if it was the intention, but his tail looks kind of like a hook. Keep that in mind. Also, I just noticed Oblividon sounds like Oblivion. Interesting. At level 34, Oblividon transforms into Obliviture. Still oblivious, but now a good posture. And it's Slowbro. It's even got the tail thing going on, which allegedly isn't a fish biting onto it. That's just what it looks like. Because Slowbro did it. That's why. So its hook tail didn't fish up anything, it just became a fish. Right. It's got a fish tail and a few spikies, and that's all that's new about this guy. Cheek spikes are more of a mammal thing, like the fur spikes out. Whatever, it's fine. It's harmless. We're kind of on a little bit of a roll, don't you think? Chocolate! Shocking hot chocolate! We've done it. We've destroyed God. This is the first one that has left me speechless. Where did this combination come from? Sure, fire and electric is a cool type combination, but shocking hot chocolate! I probably just heard someone say chocolate and just made it up on the spot. Genius strategy, that. What even is this thing? It's partially a cup, but also some sort of long-necked frog. Are its eyes inside its mouth? Is it filled with chocolate? Can you drink it? Does it all spill out if it leans over? How does it eat? I cannot comprehend! At level 30, chocolate evolves into Cocovolt, a name which was provided to me by a friend. Just a fun fact, I guess. Upon evolving, it's gained 2 arms, or wings, which are meant to be the heat guard typically found in hot chocolate cups, which also are showcasing that they are capable of shooting electricity. Alrighty then! It also has 4 legs. What is this, a table? Nah, that's next time. Wait, really? Sprouting from its head is a straw, which it could use to geyser hot chocolate all over its opponent. Or, you know, you could probably just use it to suck out its innards. What did I just say? This line isn't offensive or outrageous, but Jesus Christ, is it weird. Also, who drinks hot chocolate through a straw? Finally, on today's list we have Nyanyi, which, in fun facts, is the first solo non-evolving Fakemon in the Dex. Yay! So Nyanyi is yin-yang reversed. You know, the concept of dualism and how contrary forces may in fact be complementary. Zekrom and Reshiram, basically. It's a ghost normal type, and exists as a solid and a gas at the same time. Its type combination is really awesome, being immune to 3 types and only weak to dark. In terms of design, it's fine. It's nothing spectacular, just a small patchy homunculus. There are a lot of places I could have taken a contrasting type combo of Ghost Normal, and I guess this is what I settled for. That was a bit of an anticlimax. It's that time in the video when redesigns must happen. As per the usual, we'll begin with the Rockablock line. I'd like this line from their inception, so they were one of the first that I repurposed. Still having the same name and typing, Rockablock resembles an amp way more than before. It even has the little nubs beside its eyes. The dials. I don't know why I call them nubs. It still has its chord appendage, but also what resembles the head of a guitar, which floats by its side and can be launched at high speeds. At level 30, it evolves into Rockablox, which, has lost its legs. No! That was my favorite part! The biggest change to this line is that they now have the ability Levitate. The head keeps all the amp similarities, and its guitar arm now houses its launchable projectile. What was previously brown has now become red, as these are the performers, and no one goes to the show to look at the amps. They can scratch at the dark patch on their bigger arm to produce awesome riffs. When exposed to a Thunderstone, it becomes Amparax, which now maintains the amp similarities the whole way through. Its guitar arm actually resembles a guitar now, and it can launch its jagged projectile at speed to produce electrical explosions wherever it lands. The sounds they produce are popular amongst some teenagers. I ended up giving this whole line Levitate because of this guy's typing. I originally made these guys before the Alolan Geodude line happened, so therefore I didn't realize how much they absolutely get destroyed by ground type attacks. Easy fix, give them Levitate. These guys are a good bunch. Next up we have Radiosaur, who, surprise surprise, I also really liked, so it also got repurposed. It really just got cleaned up, to be fair. They can be found living in the harshest mountains, including volcanoes, but also deserts. When angered, they have a special organ that heats up their spines to dangerous temperatures, igniting anything flammable within a short radius. Better not piss one of these guys off. Despite its appearance, these guys are generally inquisitive and playful, acting more like a small puppy than a ferocious predator. At level 40, it becomes Spinosaur, which, again, just got cleaned up. These guys are only found in the most remote of locations, because remember that special organ I said Radiosaur had? Well, upon evolution, it becomes so powerful that they become too hot to approach. They're only angry because they destroy anything they get close to. It's kinda sad, really. What isn't sad is this line's ability, one that I created called Combustion Field. When the Pokemon is switched in and after it has taken damage from entry hazards, any entry hazards on its side of the field will combust and disappear. Spikes, more like yikes! Stealth rocks, more like melt rocks! Sticky web, more like non-existent web! Whatever, you get it. It's cool. Strangely enough, the line that gave me the most trouble redesigning it was the Oblividon line. So much so that I've recorded the audio for this episode weeks ago, and I'm only getting around to this now. I originally started with the concept of having Oblividon be a lounge lizard, and having its skin partially shed off to act as clothing. However, that was way too similar to Scraggy and Scrafty, and nothing really emphasized the psychic type. From there I went back to the original design and I had it look a bit more dinosaurish, a bit more monstrous. Based kind of on a Gila monster, and it had a big old tongue. However, I wasn't feeling this either. So I took that design, made it a bit more lazy and happy, made Obliviture into a quadruped, gave it a big old bushy tail, but I wasn't feeling that either. Then I experimented with the idea of having its shedded skin come off like clothing again, having these big old frills, and I was like, God damn, I just can't figure out what to do. However, I did like the tongue. So from there, I decided to go back to the drawing board. So Oblividon was based on some kind of cartoony, rare dinosaurs from back in the day. So I started by making it look kind of like that, and they're drawn with pencil, and they have these really kind of dark outlined, big googly eyes. I made Oblividon into a biped, and now he's got these big psychedelic eyes. You could say that the inspiration for this line is when you lick certain amphibians, you get psychedelic effects. That's toads, really, but, you know, it's Pokemon. You can do whatever. And speaking of licking, when Oblividon evolves, its body floats in midair due to all the psychic energy it emits, and it's able to walk around by moving its tongue, which also ties back into the theme of licking. Amphibians get high. Wow. If you guys have any suggestions for new names for this pair, let me know in the comments down below. How in the world do you redesign a hot chocolate Fakemon and have it be able to control electricity? The first idea I had was a mug that evolved into a travel cup. Then I redesigned it and it was kind of suspended in space, coming out of a mug like a genie. But none of them were doing it for me. I decided to go and start from the beginning. Where does chocolate come from? I found Cocoa Pods, and something clicked in my brain, and that's just where I went. I drew a Cocoa Pod to start, and then cut it in half, then turning it into a cup of hot chocolate. I gave it a handle and a face, but I wasn't really feeling the face, so I moved on. I decided to give it a big marshmallowy head, and then I had the genius idea to turn the ridges on the pod into magnets. He's a weird boy, but I like him. Upon evolving, I took the Cocoa Pod again, but this time split it in half down the middle, resulting in Cocoa Volt having enormous gauntlets that it can use to shoot blasts of electricity. This was definitely subconsciously inspired by the Shocker from Spider-Man. Its head and underarms are composed of marshmallows, with its arms being a swirling storm of hot chocolate. When in trouble, it can bring its arms together and hide within its gauntlets. Despite the weirdness, I am really oddly proud of this pair. Finally arriving on the ghost normal type Nyenyi, my inspiration came from the shape of its head, the yin-yang, which kinda looks like two small tadpole creatures intertwining, so that's what I made. This singular creature is made up of what resembles two smaller creatures grabbing onto one another. Each one's arms look like the other's mouth, and each has a pattern on their back that looks like another face. There are many ways you can look at this guy, and I love it. Yeah. There we go, guys. That was episode 8 of my Fakemon reviews. Can you believe that we're, like, almost done? We're not. I realize I haven't made videos in a few months. I got some stuff going on, but I will try and get stuff out as regularly as I can. In the meantime, if any of you guys are Fakemon creators, I started something on my DeviantArt before Christmas. I want to do an artistic collaboration where I draw lots of ice types that people give to me. If you have any ice type Fakemon you've made and you want me to put it in a giant collaboration image, make sure to head over to my DeviantArt and submit it there. There's probably a link in the description. Anyway guys, I've been DeadBedSpread, and after all this time I still don't have a good outro. I have an intro, hey hello, but what can you say to say goodbye, like bye below, like that doesn't work. See ya, I guess. So Nyenyi is yin-yang reversed, you know? The concept of dualism and how contrary forces may in fact be complementary. Zexon, fucking hell. La 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 la. Oh my god. Hear that? That was freaking epic, dude. Yeah! Oh my god, I nearly vomited. Jesus.